Society's dumber than ever, so welcome back to Ancient Wisdom. We're getting to the ancient root of modern problems. Word of the day is promulgate, to promote, or make widely known. Add it to your vocab, guys. Do chubby chasers even really exist? What about fat followers? Obese obligers? Portly pursuers?
Whale watchers.
Dextrose diligent.
Dextrose diligence. Voluptuous vigilance.
Oh. Guys, let's get into it. But first, some fun stuff. It's not easy out here in 2024. Inflation, am I right?
What? He's like, man.
Shit. Oh, I guess that wasn't about inflation. Sorry, guys. But the future's never exactly how you expect.
Guys, I think this guy's picture might appear next to King in the dictionary.
Good evening, cowards. Rick Hubbard, 97 Spruce Lane. Nice to see a bunch of fat, ugly women. What?
No.
Right off the bat.
They're fat, ugly women is what they are.
We're not having that.
You don't have to buy.
This is his time.
And the fat woman walks out.
Perfect angle to see her fat butt trot out.
Yep, so.
Nice. Wow, that
King
guy's
material.
killing. You know what? He did it. I don't know. I don't know what he went in there to accomplish, but maybe he did it.
That's what I was kind of saying last week. It's like, go after the women first, and then racism will solve itself.
Wow. Deep.
Because you can't say that about black people in a room, but you can say it about women right now. So
start small.
Still, a little bit. Yes, build up.
All right, let's get into it, y'all. You guys remember that movie Elysium?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Wall-E. They're in space. But in this movie, the elites escape the shitty Mad Max world and go on this beautiful futuristic spaceship in the sky to escape the riffraff.
They did it.
And I gotta say, I think this is where the future is going. But is this not already what's going on with the liberal elites in their gated communities watching from their high towers upon America as it crumbles to the pieces? The elites are trying to leave us behind? Dog, Obama produced a movie or a show called Leave the World Behind. And that was just as the huge cellular outage happened too.
Yep.
Pretty suspicious, you know. So in Elysium, the elite left us behind. Got me thinking, Elysium. Do y'all know where this comes from? Elysium was originally out of Greek mythology. It is one of the depths of Hades. Now there are three. Elysium is sort of the heaven of all deaths. It's the best part of Hades, the best part of Underworld. You go there when you were super heroic, had a great life, did everything right. Then there's the middle hell, which is kind of like purgatory. Most people are in Asphodel, which is the middle territory. You go there if you were nothing special. And then, of course, what we know now as the pits of hell is something called Tartarus.
Ooh.
Boom. And I wanted to ask you guys, because in Greek mythology, Tartarus, yes, it's the lowest form of hell. It's the deepest, it's the worst form of hell. But it was also one of the primordial beings. Now, what this says to me is that the ancient Greeks thought that hell was both a place to go after you're dead for the worst kind of people, but it was also a spirit. It was also a being. It was also a person. It was one of the primordial beings. It was one of the first things to exist after chaos itself. And among them were 6 primordial beings. We have love with hell. We have love, eros, and hell. They're kind of in little opposites here too. We have earth and we have sky. We have Uranus and we have Gaia. And then night and darkness. Those are the 6 primordial beings that Greek mythology says existed from the very beginning. And I thought, how funny, right? The 6 of them are sort of in little pairs. We have love and hell. We have earth and sky, and night and darkness. And night and darkness eventually had the Titan sun Erebus, which created day, which created light. So I guess I wanted to ask, first of all, you guys have that same intuition as the ancient Greeks had about hell being both a place and a person?
I'm not sure if I believed it at first, but that version of hell sounds so much more scary than the I guess the Western version of hell we know today, because the fact that Satan or what's the actual name of Tartarus, the person or the spirit infecting your mind while you're also in physical hell, that sounds like absolute hell on earth.
It sounds like hell on earth.
Sounds
like
pretty
you don't
terrible.
have to die to get there. I think that's what it means by a person. It is a spirit that you can embody, if you will.
Right, or it infects you kind of thing. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, that's a good way to see it too. Yeah, it's a living spirit. I mean, I'm sure anyone who's suffered or gone through some sort of trauma has experienced the living Tartarus. You don't have to die.
What I'm hearing you say is that hell is carried with you wherever you go.
See, if you take it from Evan's perspective, it's
not
something.
a place.
Yeah. Well, it could be also a place, but you're not there yet. That's what the Greeks think anyway. You haven't been judged yet, but
It's almost
Evan's
as if
sort of
it's-
from the perspective that it can be embodied. It could come upon you, it sounds like.
I like
and
that.
Poach thinks it's something that can also be carried with you. Am I right?
Well, yeah. Less embody, less you are, not you are it, but like, oh man, you ran into it and now
Yes.
You have encountered it, if you will.
You brought it to fruition.
hell. Like Christians say, it's a cross you carry, but I feel like you can carry a hell.
Interesting. How do you ditch the hell?
Right. Right? Because Christians say you can carry this cross. It's your cross to bear. But
phrase.
what if a cross to bear is not a hell? A cross to bear is something you get rid of.
I could see it.
People stuck in hell have no
Something
way out.
to
They
die
have no
on.
penance to pay. They are stuck.
That was mad David Childress right there.
Penance to pay. They are stuck.
It almost sounds like the cross was Jesus's hell that he had to overcome a little bit. And now Catholics wear it around their neck kind of thing.
Because it's also the sign of the resurrection, right?
Yep.
Because I like where you guys are going with this. Jesus had to die. You have to carry your own cross. What does cross mean? In life, it means death, the death that we bring with us. But it's really ultimately a symbol of resurrection, breaking that hell that we have to deal with.
I guess it literally is like being born again then, in that sense.
Being born again. And how could we be born again if we don't carry our cross in the first place? So it's very interesting how hell comes to earth.
If we don't die.
If we don't at first die. And speaking of dying, y'all, I like what some ancient Greek myths have to say about death. Talking about you die, your punishment is to spend 1,000 years dead. And you go to your place, Elysium if you were really great, Asphodel if you were okay, Tartarus if you were pretty bad, and you got to spend 1,000 years dead. Tell me if you like this, because I kind of vibe with this mythology. But the people in Elysium, sometimes they're like, I'm good. I don't want to live again. I'm going to stay here. So you sign a little contract that says you get to stay in Elysium for eternity.
It's almost
and if you
as
get
if-
born eventually, like Poge was saying earlier about God creating the universe, you could live again if you choose to.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, dear it
That's all I
is,
was
though.
gonna say, yeah. Or live again and fix your fate. That's what I was going to say.
See, and everyone knows the river Styx. Am I right? I don't know why they never called it the Styx River. Why does everyone say the river Styx?
Sounds
It's like
more
saying
cool.
the Ukraine. I don't know. The country's called Ukraine.
Right.
But anyway, there's another famous river, less famous, in Hades, called Lethe. Nowhere have I heard this word before. Could it be the root of lethargy? Lethargic? But it actually means to forget. Letho.
Ooh.
Now, when one would be reincarnated after the 1,000 years, so some of the myths go, you would have to drink from the river Lethe to forget you have ever lived.
Man.
You would start anew in a brand new life, having no memory of the previous.
A true rebirth.
Damn.
That's like a glutton for suffering right there.
Why you say that?
Because they know how hard it is to figure it out the first time. And
You gotta do it all again.
Yeah, plunge in with no prior knowledge again.
And it's like you could kind of see it if you're in heaven for so long, because actually this reminds me of an ancient Poge quote talking about how he never liked the Christian idea of heaven growing up, right, Poge?
Oh, it's so true.
The idea of being in heaven forever.
Yes, I had the same type of dreams when I was a kid. Absolutely. But sorry, I didn't mean to.
What really got me? I think what really got me about that whole idea is I personified heaven as the earthly experience. Like my body here on earth will be like it is on heaven. And when I thought about eternity, I said to myself, what am I going to do with all that time? It's such a childish thought.
Whoa.
It
I
really
suppose
is.
so, but it's realistic
It is.
because breaking down religion like that can be childish, because you have to think of it from a certain perspective. Like, all right, it'll be the same as I'm doing now, but I won't be in pain. It'll just be fun. I'll be with all my friends all the time.
Right. And I thought of it as like a middle school hallway, like interperiod. Like
You
everyone's
get
just
that
like-
brief respite between lives, which is the class that you have.
yeah, everyone's hanging around their lockers because in my mind, in middle,
Imagine heaven is just chilling at the locker.
you have to
Talking to
understand
girls,
like
Yeah.
you have to understand my perspective of like when I thought this thought. I was
Sure.
in like 7th grade.
So your idea of heaven has changed then? Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Oh, what do you think of it
dramatically.
now?
I don't think there's time in heaven. I don't think the concept of time progression, like growing from young to old, exists in heaven. I think that's a very earthly concept.
Okay.
I think that's a very mortal thing to deal with.
I think Poge hit a deep point there, because I think it speaks to the fact that a child has no conception of time. He's so in the moment and in the present that the thought of something way off in the distance like heaven freaks him out, kind of thing. Because he's so involved in the present that
I think of David after dentist. Is this gonna be forever?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's the first time someone gets high.
Just like
you always
that.
think that way. It's
that's
funny.
the thought. Is this going to be forever?
Is this gonna be
And I think what I
forever?
imagine
Primal thought.
I imagined like people in white cloaks and angel wings and like
Everyone's
white
looking so good.
infinite just white
Everyone's at a
clouds.
Kanye concert. Yeah.
And I'm like getting nervous. I'm like, is this going to be forever? Like, what if I don't want white clouds
Yeah,
forever?
right.
You know, but that's a very childish.
I suppose so. So then let me
Knowledge
ask
of
you
it,
this, right? Because Christian heaven, from that perspective, has always seemed like either really terrifying or just not properly explained because we can't explain it. Is that what you think?
Oh man, yeah. I think it's not well explained.
It's not well
I think
explained.
it's very.
Is it explainable from this realm? Is it explainable?
I don't think it is explainable. I think because that's why I was afraid of it as a child, because I was trying to understand heaven in a child's eyes,
Yeah.
and it terrified me.
And
as
maybe
it should have,
sure.
as it should have.
And maybe we as humans are the children, just
Yes.
in general, trying to
Perhaps.
put it to words.
yes,
Something that could really never be put to words, such in that every idea of heaven may be falsified or wishful thinking.
And you know what the real tragedy is? We're telling the kids that we know what it looks like.
Oh,
and it's screwing
yes.
them up so bad, because that was a traumatic experience that Poge had, to be taught about heaven when he didn't need to know about heaven.
Wow.
and I actually, Evan, that is amazing. You said that because there's a little more to add to. I agree. So I was taught about heaven by a Catholic priest. But once I was taught about heaven, I was taught about heaven again 2 years later by another Catholic
Again.
priest.
Oh man, and the
Twice the
story
torment.
changed
And the story
just
changed.
a little
And
bit.
the story changed. So
And
the-
that child like mine could pick up on those.
Yep.
I
The
bet.
first time I was taught
Dang.
about heaven was you will live there forever. And you will like the first time I was taught about heaven, it was just like the Garden of Eden forever. And you're in your human body in Garden of Eden forever.
Right.
Adam and Eve forever. That's what I heard. Second time I heard about heaven was from a more philosophical priest. And he said angels have no eyes or no ears. That's why they cannot hear or see.
Man, if you believe Ezekiel, angels are just wheels.
What? I guess I didn't read that
You
one.
need some more Ezekiel in your life.
And that actually sounds great. Angels are just wheels. So when I heard about that, angels have no eyes or no ears, therefore cannot hear or not see. So I thought, wait a minute. Living in heaven forever is not like living as a human forever.
Man.
So my big question of this segment is, then why even try to explain heaven, do you think? Why do we even try, like Evan said?
I don't know. The priests are not very zen. I don't know the answer to that question. They did a disservice by teaching heaven.
Yeah, because I like what you were saying about that. There's this disservice to even doing it in the first place. So why do we do it? Why do we try?
Fear, maybe.
They want to sound like they know what they're talking about. And the kids ask the question about eternity, and you can't answer it. So you have to say something, or else you sound like an idiot in front of your kids.
Man.
So you just say something to not sound like an idiot.
That's the worst, like trying to appeal to your own authority in that sense.
But what else would you say? Well, what else would you tell your kid? Oh, I don't know what happens after you die. Then you
Seems more honest, I suppose.
Sure, yeah.
You know what, though? I could imagine a kid really respecting and bonding with that person that admitted he doesn't know what's going on, though. You know what I mean?
I could imagine them having a moment together because we're finally at the same level. Hey, you don't know, I don't know, and I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, it's like, what? The child's like, what? We're equals, kind of?
Yeah.
Sort of? We don't know what's going on?
You know what? That's so true, dog. I feel that in my heart to be true, whereas I felt more discomfort from the lies. Did you not feel that? Like, I swear my mother would explain to me, well, it's just this, shut up. And I'm like, all right, well, I have 100 more questions about it. My questions aren't going to stop until they're answered. You have to say you don't know, or the lie continues and continues forever, which I fear it does, from religion to parents to fake authority figures. And that's why we have this phony hierarchy in the world today. Do you ever find yourself believing in like the Greek gods or like these spirits that are maybe not part of God, but subsidiaries?
You're reminding me of muses.
Muses, yes. That's exactly, frankly, it.
Yeah.
In the Greek mythology, see, here's the thing. In Christianity, there's one God, he's in charge of everything. But in Greek mythology, there's chaos, and then it rains down, primordial. And it's a family tree, and they rain down titans, and they rain down gods, and they rain down muses, and they rain down humans. It's a hierarchy of heaven in that perspective.
I like the fact that you could blame different things on different gods in your life. I
almost
feel like,
familial in that sense, too.
Yeah.
Blame my dad, I blame my mom.
Right, and you might have had more sense of a peace that way, because now with just one God, you blame him for everything that goes wrong or everything that goes right.
I've been thinking about that recently. Imagine God's like, oh, that's not even my fault right now.
Yeah.
And I'm blaming him for it, when really I was tempted by a spirit.
Right.
The hell of myself, the Tartarus, the self, as well as the place. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
There are so many times when I was like a young man and I blamed like God or the world or my situation for something that I just didn't really see was my fault.
For sure. And sometimes that's
what
real.
happens as young people. Like, you have to understand, like, man, you know, you're making mistakes. Like, there are good ways to live.
So it sounds like hell is tied in with the idea of free will. What would you guys say about that?
I agree, because
Can you choose to live in hell? Is it a choice?
I think that's why the argument exists against free will, because it's like, I forget, Paul or something too said, I just can't do what I want to do.
Damn.
You know?
And Kanye said, slavery's a choice, man.
Right. I don't know. That's a hard question. to answer.
Well, think about it. Comment, y'all. And that's the end of Mitch's section.
Guys, D.T. Suzuki, a Japanese philosopher, once said, "If you have attained something, this is the surest proof that you have gone astray." What do you think about that?
My first thoughts are attainment. Very worldly. Attainment. It reminds me of my old dissertation on improvement. You are improving, but what are you improving? Are you improving yourself? You are attaining. Who are you attaining for? Attaining is not a word. You cannot just attain. You need to attain something. You need to attain for something. Am I attaining to become better in this world? Why am I better? Better than what?
So you're saying it's the goal, the motivation is what you have to really question about why you're obtaining something.
It's almost as if he's saying that it doesn't even exist in the first place. Because why? We do things for money. We do things for the approval of others. Poe was talking about doing things for your parents because they said so.
If you attain something, it's
It sounds like he was on some DMT, Suzuki. Am I right?
I'm just like almost ready to say total disagree with this one, man. because like you have to attain something. You can't just say, "Oh, I attained, so it's nothing." Like, where are we going with this Tao? Are we gonna like? Are we gonna
Pope
like?
needs the Tao to go somewhere. That's the thing. It is a very worldly mindset. Like,
that's
what's the
my
conclusion?
That's my impression right now.
I
If
think
you
a
have
lot of people
attained
feel that
something,
way. That's why I want to know, Poach, what can you attain?
Family.
Okay, family
Relationships,
dies.
Relationships. I don't know. Love. Having fun with people.
But that's not attainment. See, we have to define the word. No. Define the word attainment. It is getting something, to have something, to attain, to achieve something.
That sounds like profit.
When it's described as that, it's getting something out of it.
Yeah.
So I ask again, what can you attain in this life? If you're going to die and you're a being that is merely here for a moment, evanescent, if you will.
Sure.
What can we really attain? I think that's what DT Suzuki is saying.
I would say just love and experience at that point. Life, love.
But I think that's his argument. I think that's exactly it. If you read between the lines, you cannot attain love. You could experience love, but you have not attained it.
Okay.
Ooh, man.
I'll agree with
It's
that.
not something to
it's
attain
not a
and say,
profit.
here it is.
Yeah.
I have it.
Sure.
I did it. I am the winner. Look at me. No, attainment is...
Dang. That's
By that
sad.
definition, I'll agree.
Love is living. Love is the vibe. Love is going. Love is something that comes and goes. There's nothing you could take.
I just don't want it to be like
Especially because we're
nihilistic.
dying.
I don't want it to be nihilistic.
For sure. I think that is a strong argument with the West versus East, as we often come to on the show. I think those are the strong differences that we think about. The nihilism that comes from the nothingness. But then that's a hard right. Then you get the hard left. You could say nothing exists. This is all gay.
So I think I might
That's
have...
what I'm fighting. Is I
Right.
don't want it to say. Like,
You want
because
it to
there
mean
is-
something.
There is reality in this world, and it's
Right.
with the people you live with, and
Absolutely.
it's the interconnections with.
So
them.
I would define that more as a moment, as more of a flow than something
sure.
to be
It's not.
attained.
It's not attainment. It's not profit. I'll agree with you. there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
dope.
yeah,
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was the I don't know what they're called, but it's like a currency that the master gave to his 3 servants or whatever. Talent. And the one that did nothing with it was just a fuck.
Was the worst. Yeah.
And then the one who
Wow,
like
not
doubled it and
using
tripled
what
it.
you have.
Right.
That's a very interesting one. It's another story you wouldn't expect Jesus to be talking about.
Right. Oh yeah, using what you have. That's another one too.
Yeah.
Talking about
That kind of goes back to Poge. I think that's a way. Oh, dude, I think that's Jesus encountering Eastern mysticism and saying, hey, you have to live. You must do something. You must be put into action.
oh man,
Wow.
get to work kind of
In
thing.
my name. You can't just laze around. Get to work. Do something with what you have been given.
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
To he who is given, more will be given.
Wow.
To he who's taken away, more will be taken away.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yep.
Tight.
G.K. Chesterton said that in the struggle for existence, it is only those who hang on for 10 minutes after all is hopeless that hope begins to dawn. Why is that? What do you guys think?
Deep. That's as deep as it gets. Hot take, GK. Hot take, GK.
Survival to the end.
Man.
I could imagine like he's ready to die. Like his leg is broken. Like, I don't know. I can imagine so many scenarios.
This guy's
that's what I
probably-
Or like his
Damn.
sheep comes back to life, or his dog comes back to life, or something happens, and his cow comes back to life, and you can.
The image that comes to
Cross the
my mind,
river.
the image that comes to my mind is just a guy alone in raptured Armageddon world, and he's got one bullet left in his gun. And he's like, "Man, is this the way out of here?"
I like it. Very
But then,
interesting.
if he holds on for 10 more minutes, something miraculous might happen.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's what came to my mind,
I've heard stories about people pulling the trigger
and it not working.
and it doesn't go off.
Man, angel tapping the gun on your shoulder or something.
Ooh, we never know in this life. Hurts to even think about it. Might even damage you to think about it. But you know what this makes me think of? The eternal pact. I saw it in a vision. When the sun goes down for the evening, much like the ancients, we know that it's a pact of God, short of a promise itself that the sun will come out tomorrow. In our pits of hell, in our deepest, darkest moments, there's nowhere to go but up. I think he's explaining a Taoist principle. I think he's explaining the pendulum. I think he's explaining the wave. Definitional. And I think sometimes when we choose to go to hell because we know we need to go to hell to improve, to attain, depending on who you ask,
to dig ourselves back,
it breeds the full acceptance of grace. I think that's where it comes from. Otherwise, you don't know grace. You haven't deserved grace. You haven't earned grace. And that's when it comes, when you least expect it, because you expect something bad to happen. Then you stop for a minute after that 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it says.
Yep. And
then all of a sudden, when you have accepted it, you have gone with the flow, and you realize you're not in control, the spirits have a gift for you. All of a sudden, things start to turn around. Have you not experienced this in your own lives?
Whoa.
All of a sudden, in your pit of despair, in your moment when there's nothing else, you're so sure, you wait 10 more minutes, and all of a sudden, the whole situation changed, and I overreacted about the whole thing. And maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe it's biblical. The 10 minutes is not actually 10 minutes. Maybe it's an hour.
Right.
Maybe it's a day. Maybe it's a week. Just hold on that last 10 minutes. They do that in the Bible a lot. They do that in ancient Chinese writing as well. They say a time, but it doesn't actually mean that time.
Whoa, I think I finally understand when...
Ichiji teki in Japanese means 1 hour, but it also means temporary. It's the same translation.
I think that makes me finally understand how Jesus calmed the water on the boat then, because he just was willing to wait a minute.
Oh, man.
And the water's calmed.
Wow, that's deep. I like that.
Man, I never thought of it that way. I just thought Jesus, godly, powerful. Yep. It's like, man, you guys could have did this, but he had the calmness to wait a little bit.
The presence of mind, the peace to say, hey, let's wait 5 more minutes. I'm sure everything will be okay. And who's the most powerful being in your life? For me, it's people that always said, hey, it's all going to be okay. You're fine. You could do this. Give it 10 minutes. Don't overreact. Don't make a rash decision. I'm sure something, and it's always spontaneous. It's always the last thing you thought of. And I think because it's the last thing you could have thought of.
And sometimes they don't always come in the form that you're expecting them. That's an inside joke.
Boom. Evan got the paperwork. Yeah. Woo! It's time to translate the Tao. In Mitch Translates the Tao, chapter 28. I come out of the house, you notice too.
Oh, I have a visitor.
Oh, visitor, welcome. Can I tell you about the Tao? Tao Te Ching, as translated by me, chapter 28. Know the masculine. Protect the feminine. Act as the river below heaven. Always virtuous, never stray. Return to being a child. Know the white. Protect the black. Act as the pattern below heaven. Always virtuous, never err. Return to the absolute. Know glory. Protect disgrace. Act as the valley below heaven. Always virtuous, thus enough. Return to unworked wood. When unworked wood promulgates, they become vessels for the holy man to turn into great rulers and officials. Therefore, the best product requires no cutting. Oh, what do you think, fellas? Let's start from the top.
The first thing that I vibed with so much was the best product requires no cutting.
Oh, the final line, of
The
course. The
finals,
big
always the
conclusion.
deepest.
Always the hottest line.
Always the hottest line, but I won't go there yet. I won't go there yet.
Let's get to it.
I won't go there yet.
That's right. We got to have a little foreplay. Get to the conclusion.
All right. But it
Know
was
the
hot.
masculine, speaking of foreplay, know the masculine, protect the feminine. Know the white, protect the black. Know glory, protect disgrace. What do you guys think about those? Very interesting, very interesting.
I think it's saying that the light, the righteousness, what's good is more readily accessible than darkness and evil, but that one smidgen can totally pull you into the other direction.
Damn.
If you don't protect that part of it. If you don't protect the black can almost consume you and envelop you into it.
Interesting.
If you're aware
like
of
that.
the main thing, but like also
Yes.
have the as Jordan Peterson, the dragon.
Know the dragon.
Right, know the dragon
But,
potential.
or excuse me, protect the dragon, but know perhaps heaven or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is very similar concept. You must know it as well.
Or-
You must be the heaven, but know the dragon. I suppose you could also
or
say
like
something like that.
have triumph over the dragon, but keep your eyes on him at the same time.
Now
kind of
that is a
thing.
great way to put it. Very deep. Wow.
Know that you could destroy him.
That's
but
right.
keep your eyes
have
on him.
have a battle plan,
Yeah.
but you don't have to use it. You know?
Right.
That's a pretty good one.
Because you also don't want to fight a dragon. It's a pretty unwinnable battle.
You don't want to if you don't have to. I
Yeah.
like that. Protect the black, stay away from the blacks. But
Man, they're deeper than we thought.
get ready for it if you needed to. I'm talking about colors, guys. Like a painter. Act as the river below heaven. We know this to mean on earth. They always translate it, but I'm going direct. I'm going with what Lao Tzu said. Below heaven. Act as the river, act as the pattern. Act as the valley. Now, the valley really spoke to me because it referenced an earlier Tao too, where it said, water is, what they say, a valley accepts all things. Water is happy in the lowest places. It's happy. It's content to be in the lowest places.
You use the word under heaven as opposed to earth because earth is still doing its thing in its own heaven. Under heaven, almost like under the hierarchy of heaven, kind of like the Greek gods you were talking about
Right.
earlier. There's a tree, there's a hierarchy that you belong under, and
And it's deeper. Yeah, absolutely. I could say on earth, translate it like everyone else, but that's not what he said.
Right.
That's not what the Chinese characters indicate. It is below heaven. It is the realm that you see before you that I describe as below heaven.
yeah, or like heaven is the light or the white, and you are underneath it in a hierarchy.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have to be aware of both at the same time.
Oh,
Like you can't
man.
just
Two
you can't say
planes
I'm
at
in
once.
heaven. This is fine. You have to be aware of that.
You're never always there.
Right.
Going back to attainment, you've never fully attained. I remember this one mushroom trip I took where I says, I got it. I figured it out. I knew everything about life. But then the strangest thing happened. Time continued to flow, and I lost it. Damn. Be the river, not what was lost in the river. Be the pattern. Continue forever. Be the valley and be receptive to all things that you get as the river flows through you. Because that's also deep too. He says be the river, but he says be the valley. What cuts through the valley is the river. You're being two places at once. You're knowing the white and protecting the black. Damn.
And a tree could fall into the river and disrupt the river, but it still makes its way around anyways.
Oh yeah, dude. Always finding the lowest place.
Yeah.
And being content there. Everyone thinks they got to be looking for God in the highest place. But maybe that's not where he is.
The water's just like, yeah, let's go this way.
I'm good,
It's all
dog.
good.
Psh, I'm chill. Don't
You
worry
do your
about
thing,
me.
tree.
You, you be you, right? Wow, how loving
and
does
let
that
live.
feel? You be you, baby. I love you just how you are. And of course, all right, Poge, give it to me. The final line. What does it mean? Therefore, the best products require no cutting.
This is all about recording the hottest beats.
Leave it to Poge.
Yeah. No, the best
Movie
thing,
coming out 2025.
the best things in life that you do will have no eyes on them. The best moments
Oh,
of your
cool.
life will not be seen or heard. The best things you ever experience will not be written down, and you will have no
Whoa.
You'll have recollection of them. You'll have no proof of them.
No proof. Sick
There'll be
take,
no
dude.
proof.
I like that a
And
lot.
that's what I love about this
That's
last
so true.
line.
True. Like Poach forgot to record the last 5 minutes of the show,
Yeah,
and it was the
exactly, yeah.
hottest.
My whole
discussion
like
we had this
discussion
whole
is like
time.
gone. Like my whole
Oh,
bit
man.
is like destroyed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yet again, we won't have Poach's section for this show, and you guys missed a good one, but we'll try to get it next week. I like it, Poach. Hot take to finish it off because it says unworked wood. Now they're referring to a breed of tree, the Japonica, but what that really means is the wood, it cannot be split. It requires no cutting. This one was particularly tough to translate because I really think that this is the spirit of what's going on. The unworked wood, the idea of being unattached, of having too much work done. You lose something powerful, and you are no longer the tool of the great man. You can't be used by him, and you can't even become one. Therefore, the best products require no cutting. So comment, guys. What do you think about this show? Have you learned? Have we got to the ancient root of modern problems? Let us know. Guys, break the conditioning and return to ancient wisdom. There it is.